Travis Wayne Goodsell. It's a circular reasoning fallacy, and if you don't know what a fallacy is, it means falsehood, generally speaking. To claim that the Book of Mormon is another testament of Jesus Christ because it says it's another testament of Jesus Christ, because it's another testament of Jesus Christ, because it says it's another testament of Jesus Christ, because it's another testament of Jesus Christ. Get the point? Circular. It was changed in 1982, and so it's technically not Ezra Taft Benson who changed it. He didn't become the president of the church until his solemn assembly in April 1986. So this was Kimball's doing, but Benson might have had a say. And so, Jesus Christ, as the church is going all in on this to lead Mormons away from the true Christ, as the Book of Mormon, as they're justifying it, says in the book's purpose, the convincing of the Jew and Gentile that Jesus is the Christ. Sort of left out Lammonite. Where's Lamanites? And the church in 1982 also decoded, they claim all, of the Doctrine and Covenants. No. And with these changes, you can see what they're doing to us. They're turning us to Christianity. As a Gentile doesn't say Christian, but that's what it means. Christians have to be convinced that Jesus is the Christ, the eternal God, manifesting himself unto all nations. Manifesting. The Christian God doesn't manifest. He's Trinity, created by Constantine. So we'll have to correct the Book of Mormon and remove manifest everywhere that it is, especially in Moroni chapter 10, verse 4. Because we can't have manifest. The Mormon doctrine has likewise changed. And so, the subtitle, approved, I'm reading from the church archives, church news archives. Since 1982, subtitle has defined book as another testament of Jesus Christ. Yeah, well, it's not. It's apocalyptic literature. But, they made all these changes with topical guide, Bible dictionary, footnotes, the cross-references to all 4 books to lead us astray into believing that Jesus is the Christ. And I'm surprised they didn't have footnotes for Moses, archetype of Jesus, or for Joseph of Egypt, archetype of Jesus, all Jesus, 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 Constantine, Jesus. But they put them in the manuals for our lessons, didn't they? And so, unfortunately, Jesus failed to do all that. He's apocalyptic literature too. All the Bible is. And if you don't know what apocalyptic literature is, you've never studied the book of Revelation, where Jesus is mixed with beasts and dragons and horsemen of the apocalypse, and flying horses, because they're true too. If Jesus is true, then dragons and all those beasts and flying horses are true too. Have to be. Otherwise, you'll have to say that Jesus Christ is also code, like beasts, dragons, and flying horses are code. And so Jews in Jerusalem temple, oh, that's code too. Okay. So like section 45 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Code. And how is it to be decoded? Joseph Smith tells us how it's to be decoded. He says it right at the very beginning of section 45. Hearken, O ye people of my church. So guess who the Jews are? Mormons? No, that's not what the church tells me. I don't believe you, Travis. You're a core-heart antichrist and demon-worshipping, child-sucking baby blood beast. All these years and Mormons still refuse to believe after I've manifested what I warned. All of it's being manifested in real time, as today we'll go over what I've got since the last time I reported for you. President Zelensky gave a talk to the Ukrainians saying that they're on their own, they've been abandoned by the world. Isn't that great? Fighting resumed as they've now reached Kiev, bombing Kiev since this morning. It's been fighting all day today. Apparently we've got somebody to take on the Red Baron, the Ghost of Kiev. It's an MiG-29, I guess is what it's called. It's a fighter jet that's got 6 kills already for the one-day battle. Russia is doing cyber attacks on Ukraine still. And Patreon had an organization, charity, to collect money to purchase weapons and stuff for the Ukrainian soldiers, and Patreon shut them down. They support Russia, apparently, like the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints supports Russia. So those are the latest updates about how the Book of Mormon is the Word of God. It's not Jesus. So, what then is the Book of Mormon? Oh, right, I already told you. It's apocalyptic literature. It's testifying of the latter days. And I've gone over with you, over and over and over again with you. Revelation not only talks about beasts and dragons and flying horses and Jesus, all mythical creatures, one of which created by Constantine. It gives us precise star dates. And that is carried over into the Book of Mormon. Why, what do you know? There's a part in the Book of Mormon that tells us, hey, referred to John's revelation for the latter days. Huh. And so, yes, right here in 1 Nephi chapter 1, Lehi is having a dream and sees the heavens open. That's code word for, hey, sign in the heavens star date. And we know that it refers to Revelation because it's got the phrase, saw God sitting upon his throne, one descending out of heaven, sun at noonday, 12 others like the stars following him. And so where do we get this from? As we see Joseph Smith meeting Nephi, not Moroni. Joseph Smith knew who he was talking about. He did not make a mistake. gets the same exact book about the end of the world. Oh, wait, the book is the Book of Mormon, which talks about a book about the destruction with the star dates from John's Revelation. What do you know? And so, Revelation 12, verse 5, child was caught up to God and to his throne. Joseph Smith translation moves 5 to verse 3 so that it can be part of the first one in verses 1 and 2. There appeared a great wonder in heaven. Joseph Smith translation adds, sign in the heaven, likeness of things on the earth. A woman clothed with the sun, moon under her feet. Yeah, this is real. A crown of 12 stars, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a iron rod of the tree of life. Didn't I just do that video yesterday? Or was it this morning's video? See, I've got day 26 for tomorrow, or day 6 for the 26th tomorrow. All set up for you, and I'll give you a teaser. Arm wrath. The wrath of the arm. And caught up to God and to his throne. And so I had found it with the first 2 verses. I didn't realize that verse 5 was a part of it. That took some time after that to realize, oh, that's a part of it too. Oh, that's in the, oh, wow, Book of Mormon is so true. I don't understand why ex-Mormons are so against the Book of Mormon. And I don't. It's weird. Why don't ex-Mormons believe in the Book of Mormon? What's up with that, guys? Book of Mormon is true. We all know it's true. Why do you resist and deny that the Book of Mormon is true? But yeah, 23rd September 2017. I knew it way back in December of 2016 because I knew I had to look for it. Because of the announcement from Fox 13 News Utah about the total solar eclipse. I knew exactly what that meant, and it meant we're in the beginning of the latter days, and that war would result, and here we are, the middle of a tetrad. The latter days war began, and many more things are promised to happen, and they're in the Book of Mormon, and ex-Mormons don't believe. It's so horrifying. And so yes, these other signs, I've gone over those with you as well, but it's amazing, the flying horse is actually a star date sign as well. See, it's talking about the marriage supper of the Lamb. That's a part of the sign. And the righteousness of the saints, marriage supper of the Lamb, section 58 of the Doctrine and Covenants says that the temple, the true temple that's set in order, section 85, because we just went through the oath, and we're coming up to Ash Day, where the cleansing occurs, as I've been going over with you with each of these days. And so all he says, Jesus, it must be Jesus. Jesus on a flying horse. Where's the flying horse? Yep, I saw the heaven opened. Yeah, it's a sign in the heavens and not an actual white horse. And I'm sure you've probably heard about the white horse prophecy. 19 July 1840, guys. Cut it out. Brigham Young purposely did not want that in the Doctrine and Covenants. Have you not read it? I've been going over it with you. There's a reason why it's not in our Doctrine and Covenants, and it had nothing to do with not getting edited properly and thus approved. It has something to do with a Last Supper, an incident that occurred at another Last Supper with Jesus and the 12. And the church keeps telling us, oh yeah, Joseph Smith and Brigham Young were bestest of buddies. No. No. Nope. Try again. Nope. Nope. So yeah, you see the war here? We're in the war. Oh look, there's the beast and the false prophet. Mars. Alrighty, so the Book of Mormon not only is apocalyptic literature, but it talks about what all ex-Mormons know and are in denial of. Verse 5, 1 Nephi chapter 13. The angel said unto me, Behold the formation of a church, which is most abominable above all other churches, which slayeth the Mormons, yea, tortureth them. Who else are the saints of God, Mormons? Oh yeah, those Jehovah Witness, they're so persecuting the Mormons. Those Presbyterians, they just won't leave us alone. They won't allow us our religious freedom. Tortureth them, and bindeth them down, and yoketh them with a yoke of iron rod, and bringeth them down into captivity. That's why Moses, the man like Moses, in section 103 verse 16, is supposed to free Mormons from this. So yeah, it came to pass that I beheld this great and abominable church, and I saw the devil, and he was the founder of it. And so what therefore is the symbol of the devil? That we might know exactly the identity of this great and abominable church. Well, I did the video, and YouTube shut down posting of videos on Travis Wayne Goodsell, the false Christ of the great and abominable church. It's because they're haters. Let's see, it's 24 in there. Yep. How art thou fallen from heaven? What falls from heaven? Stars fall from heaven. Oh, like the latter days. The sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven. What is the symbol of a falling star? Well, a regular star is a pentagram, and the point points up. So what would be a falling star? What would that symbol be? How could we recognize it? Because it's Lucifer's symbol of the great and abominable church. Gee, it would be on their keystone of the great and abominable church, which would be over the doors of their temples, especially the headquarters temple. And it's not supposed to ascend to the sun position at noonday. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, and I will sit upon the mount of congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High Sun at noonday. Wait a minute. Nauvoo. It has the inverted pentagram, a falling star, in the middle between the Jewish star that's sort of hidden on the underbeam thing, overhanging. I can't remember the terms anymore. It's been decades since I did architectural studies. And then below it is the sunstone, Omega, but it's the rising sun because it's at the bottom. So it's the rising sun. And then the sun at noonday is the inverted pentagram of Venus of Lucifer. On the Nauvoo temple, huh? Yeah, and who was it that designed that? Oh, Brigham Young changed it after a certain person was assassinated by the two people left in the room after Joseph Smith chased out the mob, huh? Yep. I wonder. And so, yes, Salt Lake Temple and Logan Temple has it over a window. A couple of windows, I believe. But the Salt Lake Temple over both doors. And the church keeps trying to cover it up and hide. What are you hiding from? Why don't you come right out and say you're the Church of Lucifer? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the gospel of Lucifer? Are you afraid to say that you're the gospel of Lucifer? What are you hiding for? Why are you trying to claim to be the Church of Jesus of Christianity? Why can't you say, as you claim Joseph Smith is the founder, but you lie and say that he believed in Jesus and was the author of the Book of Mormon? Translator, I mean. And so ex-Mormons, likewise, don't believe the Book of Mormon is true and believe that Joseph Smith wrote it, rather than Sidney Rigdon. Because the rock in the hat is hilarious to talk about. Oh yeah, Joseph Smith used a rock in a hat to write the Book of Mormon. And you forget about how science has shown already that Sidney Rigdon is the author of the Book of Mormon. And I've gone over with you that science, as I connected it all together for you in videos, Smith Sr. had to rewrite the 116 pages after Junior blew his babysitting job with Martin Harris. He was the money man, and he demanded to be a part of it. So what do? You got to get him out of the way. Junior, take him and go far, far away, north of Pittsburgh, in between the two locations, and he blew it. Lost his firstborn, and then got booted out of the Methodists, which I think he forgot to tell Dad about getting booted out of the Methodists. There does seem to be some problems in their cover story. Not to mention, Doctrine and Covenants section 10 was put in 1982 with all these changes, the wrong date. They bumped it down to 1828 instead of 1829. So the real story, if we don't do the real story, is that Joseph Smith Jr. lost his gift of translation for a whole year and therefore had not begun working on it until 1829, section 10. And yet section 4 hey, marvelous workers and wonders about to come forth among the children of men. Yeah, it's almost done. Oops. And thus the church, under Kimball, for 1981's edition of the triple combination, changed the date to 1828. Because that covers it up. No Mormon will ever figure it out, even when we bring out the Joseph Smith papers. With the internet that has yet to be invented. Or was it invented by... There's like a dozen people who claim they invented the internet, isn't there? So, yeah, the Book of Mormon is true, guys. Why don't you get it? But there's some interesting things. As I was doing a video yesterday, I brought it out. See, before Pope Gregory, with the Gregorian calendar, let's bring up the date since we're talking about it. Pope Gregory, he the only one? Or are there other Gregories? I'm only seeing one. Oh, there's Pope Gregory the 13th. So which... and Gregorian calendar. Yeah, 13th. Introduced calendar reforms in 1582 to correct the issue. Correct what issue? You made more problems. Septem, Octem, Novem, Decem is bumped up 2 months. And so Septem is no longer the 7th month, it's now the 9th month. And so on. Decem is no longer the 10th month, it's the 12th month. How did that fix things? What are you doing? So, yeah, Pope Gregory the 13th. And they use the Roman numerals. 666. As, again, the Book of Mormon. 666 from Revelation. The number. And who's the next president of the church? Which number? Which number? 18, because they claim Joseph. They don't acknowledge that the United States shut them down, so that Woodruff to Heber J. Grant, not legitimate. Nope, that's all a straight succession. Never been broken. We're successors of Joseph Smith with Jesus. and so it's 18. How many times does 18, or does 6 go into 18? 3 times? Well, what about 3? 6 times. 666. How many years? Because they have to go back to Emma for the Relief Society. 180 years. 666. 666. 6666666. And it's blatantly obvious for all of us, as it's fun and amusing too. Art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And I've gone over with you. The Nauvoo Temple was not dedicated on April 6th. Everybody was pissed. What are you doing? You were doing your anointing of yourself as king in the Nauvoo Temple in January to overthrow America. And yet you skip April 6th to dedicate it? And you wait until the anniversary of the Illuminati, who use Lucifer and the inverted pentagram as their symbols? Huh. And John C. Bennett, who was part of the Danites, because he was practicing polygamy in sacred secret, away from Lucifer, but telling the women, oh, Joseph Smith approves of this. Shh, don't tell. Gets caught, gets excommunicated by Joseph Smith. And so he goes running to the Danites. Guys, help me! No, you're going to blow our cover. Get out of here. And so he goes to James Strang after Joseph Smith is assassinated and says, hey, buddy, why don't we start polygamy? That signs James Strang's death warrant as he's mysteriously assassinated. And so John C. Bennett decides, well, okay, I'll form my own Illuminati church in the Halcyon Order. Has the church erased that yet? After I exposed it? Or is it still in here? They keep erasing the history from Wikipedia after I drop the bombshells on them. John C. Bennett. Be later life. Ba-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Legacy, my ass. So there's the Strangites. Did you? You did? Are you serious? Are you serious? Where is it? You gotta be kidding me. Oh, there it is. But they did. Oh, there it is, okay. And so, yes, Bennett united with the Strangites, who founded their own Mormon community on Beaver Island in Michigan. While there, he founded a short-lived Halcyon Order of the Illuminati. Where did he get that idea from? Who gave him that idea? To reinforce Strang's power over his kingdom. So, Illuminati, Kingdom, Brigham Young, Illuminati, Kingdom. Contrary to the United States, to destroy the United States. Yep. With Bennett's enthusiastic support, polygamy was introduced into the Michigan Mormon community. Shortly thereafter, in 1847, amid yet more charges of sexual misconduct, Bennett was excommunicated from the Strangite community. Bennett did not associate with any Latter-day Saint group for the remainder of his life. So we got to go to James Strang to find out that he was murdered. Death of a Kingdom. Assassination. Whoops. Yeah. Let's see. On Monday, June 16th, 1856, Strang was waylaid around 7 p.m. on the dock of the harbor of St. James. Jacob, usurper. The chief city on Beaver Island, by Wentworth and Bedford, who shot him in the back. Oh, you know the names. Oh, Wentworth and Bedford. Wentworth is the Wentworth letter, I believe. They don't have him highlighted. Did you refer to Wentworth previously? I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it. He was teaching Trinity and Virgin Birth of Jesus, along with plurality of gods. Distinctive dogmas. Yeah, Mormonism of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is not a dogma. We're different. I'm not seeing Wentworth. Nope. Where is he? Oh, hey, wait, they got Halcyon Order of Illuminati there too. Okay, also championing Strang was John C. Bennett, a physician and libertine who had a tumultuous career as Joseph Smith's assistant president and mayor of Nauvoo. Invited by Strang to join him in Voree, Bennett was instrumental in establishing a so-called Halcyon Order of the Illuminati there. With Strang as its imperial primate. It's got reference 7. Robert P. Weeks. June 1970. For his was the kingdom and the power and the glory. Briefly achieved 2007, 9/29. At the Wayback Machine, American Heritage 21, paragraph 4, or parentheses 4. Eventually, as in Nauvoo, where the Illuminati symbol was on that temple, Bennett fell into disfavor with the church, because of polygamy, and Strang expelled him in 1847. See, now you have to have the two together because they both have different information. See, the Bennett one has a different information than the Strang one. His order fell by the wayside and has no role in Strangism today. Strangism? No, it did lead to conflict between Strang and some of his associates. But they knew about the Danites and the Illuminati, all the secret underground work. They know. See, Hiram Page spells it as Hiram Smith spelled his name. Isn't that interesting? And the church will not talk about that. Because in 1826, something happened on 9/11. And all hell broke loose in the United States. And I've been covering it for you all these decades. Okay. So we need to get these. But Yep. We need to go to John C. Bennett. I'm sure I've got them, but just to make sure I've got them. Because there's a contradiction. That's the problem with Wikipedia, is the church gets their hands into it and screws everything up. And so, that's Book of Mormon tells us all about it. Korihor, who is he the founder of? Secret combinations. And the secret combinations are in the Great and Abominable Church. As we go to Helaman, chapter 6. See, the Book of Mormon is true, ex-Mormons. What is wrong with you guys? Can't believe of your lack of faith. And so, talking about the secret combinations, Satan did stir up the hearts of the more part of the Mormons, insomuch that they did unite with those bands of robbers, and did enter into their covenants and their oaths that are held within the temple with the inverted pentagram on them, where they have penalties of death if you violate them, and the oaths are about loyalty to their church rather than to the United States of America, because they're going to overthrow America in the latter days. And that they would protect and preserve one another in whatsoever difficult circumstances they should be placed. Brad Wilcox. They should not suffer for their racism, bigotry, sexism, murders, plundering, and stealing. And it came to pass that they did have their signs, yea, their secret signs, the inverted pentagram of the Illuminati, of the Great and Abominable Church, of the band of robbers, and their secret words, and this that they might distinguish a brother who had entered into the temple covenant, that whatsoever wickedness his brother should do, he should not be injured by his brother, nor by those who did belong to this Babylon band. Right, Nelson? Who had taken this covenant. And thus they might murder, plunder, steal, commit whoredoms, be racist, sexist, and bigoted, neglect the poor, all manner of wickedness, contrary to the laws of the United States of America and the Constitution of the United States, and also contrary to the laws that Joseph Smith had established, which they claimed is their founder. And whosoever of those who did belong to their merry little band, we merry few, band of brothers, the Babylon band, should reveal unto the world of their wickedness, hey, it's me, and their abominations should be destroyed by the great and abominable church for exposing it. Ta-da! And here we are. And so, yep, it's all right here in the Book of Mormon, guys. Book of Mormon is true. And I say this in not the name of Jesus Christ. I got so caught up with my excitement of how my testimony of the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon, I forgot to talk about what I was doing with the Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar. Well, the use of the Julian calendar has different things that Pope Gregory messed up. And so the star date is a different day in the Julian calendar than in the Gregorian calendar. But there have been some things that are not on the Julian calendar that are only on the Gregorian calendar as the days of the week I've been going over with you with this countdown. And for those to match up indicates to me that there is a purposeful, premeditated conspiracy plot to self-fulfill biblical prophecy after the Gregorian calendar was created. You see how that works? You know, yes, the star dates in Scripture can work on both calendars. It would just be a different day, a different date on the Julian calendar than it would be on our Gregorian calendar. But the star date is fixed. It's the same day, but on our calendars that we create on Earth, it's on a different day. So Friday the 13th, Knights Templar, Egyptian gold treasure plates, buried in America for the bloodline of the Mormon human Christ of Joseph Smith's Lodge, Canandaigua, New York, 1826. Takes over the writing of the Book of Mormon. 116 pages then had to be rewritten. So it's got a whole bunch of Knights Templar and Jewish mysticism in it. But Friday the 13th was in the Julian calendar because it's prior to the 15 whatever date I gave you. And so it was on a Thursday in the Julian calendar. But yeah, in our Gregorian calendar, which we would have to anachronism impose to that time period, yeah, it was on Friday the 13th. So, just something that I was very curious about, and confirms that yes, the Illuminati did plan to destroy the United States by taking the biblical prophecies and using the Gregorian calendar to coordinate their attacks with the signs in the heavens for that purpose. And despite what the news and government tell you, the Illuminati is real. Book of Mormon tells us exactly who they are. Right, Mormons? Should I do a wink? Can I wink? Do I know how to wink? Yep, Mormons have been giving me the Judas kiss from 19 July 1840.